adults in the video join them in a frenzied raid.
She caught her son rioting yesterday.
Wow. Shoving it inside a backpack.
What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know me, I am Roberto in some countries, Robert in other countries. I was looking at some Halloween videos, y'all, from this past Halloween, and it's absolutely freaking disgusting. It is indicative of this up-and-coming generation. And I could, listen, there's a lot of times once a child gets to a certain age, I let the parents off the hook. See, if you were raising kids in my generation, when I was raising kids, we were a little bit more dogmatic. We were a little bit on top of our kids. We believed in freaking discipline. But I know that is gone now in this generation. I was looking at some videos of Halloween, and it was absolutely freaking disgusting the way these kids treated Halloween. But before we deep dive into that, let's take a look back. For all my Gen Xers, my baby boomers out there, y'all remember Halloween? I was Chewbacca, y'all. We had these kind of Halloween costumes right here.
The flashier Ben Cooper costumes came in
School event you had to look forward to. Many schools made the day special with parades, parties, and candy.
It was about being part of the pop culture wave that swept across every kid's imagination.
I was Chewbacca. I think I was in the 5th grade. We had the school. We marched around the school. I thought I was Star Wars was the hot thing at the time, and I saw Chewbacca in my head, my brothers and sisters, I was Chewbacca. I wasn't this plastic mask. I was the actual hairy guy. So little me, this guy right here, little me, was walking around the school, talking like I was freaking Chewbacca. Those were the days, my brothers and sisters. Those were the days. Such a nostalgic moment. And we would walk, and we had a certain time to go trick or treating, and we would walk up to the doors with I walked up to the door with my Chewbacca mask on, ring the doorbell, and knock on the door, trick or treat, and the person would come outside, open the bag, and throw 1 or 2 pieces of candy in my bag, and we would close our bags and go about our way. And we did that from house to house. As a matter of fact, in more recent days, as I took our son trick or treating, maybe he's almost 17 now, so this is not recently. But when he was a young lad, even though it was cold, walk from house to house, trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat, get your bag full of candy. Not no more, my brothers and sisters. Nowadays, you got this going on right here.
Then he dumps the entire bowl of candy into the bag.
And see, as much as I want to let these kids off the hook, I'm going to tell y'all this is 1000% the parents. And I was looking for a video to try to prove my theory that it is the parents who breed. Listen, I know y'all gonna disagree with me, some of y'all, but I'm trying to tell y'all with these little kids, when a child is walking around with a $2,000 phone, a $3,000 laptop, a $2,000 or $3,000 gaming system, and every freaking amenity, Cash App, freaking what's the other one? Uber Eats. I can't believe how many kids are doing Uber Eats. That's not the child's fault. That is the parents' fault. And where is their freaking responsibility? But then I saw this video right here that proved my point. It is the parents that breed this kind of disrespect. These kids are just learning to kill or be killed. But where do they learn it from? Because I learned temperament. I learned to be a priest. As a matter of fact, y'all remember, for those of you old school people, y'all remember when you would go out with your mother and you would go to one of her friends' houses and she'd be like, "Don't you ask for a damn thing." When we get in the store, don't you ask me for a thing. Don't you touch a damn thing. Nowadays, you got kids throwing a fit. What? Like a god-darn fool. My kids didn't have that luxury. My kids did not have that luxury. My brothers, hold on, y'all. I know this is a thing of the past, but my kids understood what this was right here. I know, call diapers on me, do what you want to do, but my kids were raised in the 90s, early 2000s, before all of this before social medias. But my kids understood. My kids understood that. They understood when daddy said stop playing around, when daddy said don't put your hand in it, they saw the belt and they got what, listen, matter of fact, I remember a couple times I clocked my son right here in his forehead. Say what you want to say. I'm going to say this. When you don't bring a certain, you can do it in however you want to do it, but when you don't bring a certain level of discipline or accountability to a child's life, you are setting them up for failure. Check this video right here, y'all. It is the mothers with the babies stealing all the candy. So when that little girl gets 13 years old and she calls her mother, "Mom, stop being an asshole," you ain't got nobody but yourself to blame. You have nobody but yourself to blame. I guess the question is it possible to raise respectful kids in this new millennium generation? Absolutely. Absolutely. I ain't saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's not going to wear you out. I think the hardest job on the planet is parenting. And there is no real reward for the energy and effort that a parent makes year after year after year. So I salute those parents doing their thing. I salute those parents pushing their kids. I salute them parents who and is not afraid to say no. I salute the parents who provide discipline. My wife and I are that kind of parent. I only knew one way to be a parent. Not saying everything I did was right. I'm not saying everything I did was right, but the long-term goal was to produce functional adults. So when I see parents teaching their kids to take advantage of a situation instead of teaching a lesson, this lets me know that when we see all these kids going crazy on Halloween, that there is a backstory that they're being learned at home. And y'all can debate me on this one, but it's not my children taking the candy. Y'all remember a couple of years ago when there was riots in LA? Let me see if I can find this video. And there was a lady who saw her son on the news rioting, and she went down there and found her son and smacked the SH and took care of him.
This is video that a lot of people are talking about this morning. It is believed this woman is the mother of the young man that she was slapping. You can see that she caught her son rioting yesterday.
Wow.
And dragged him away. Baltimore police had asked parents to find their children involved in the violence and take them home.
Use so much foul language. But everything else, when it came down to my son and getting him from down there, I would have did the same thing.
And people wanted to call diapers on her. Well, in the black community, we were applauding her. We were applauding her because that is a parent's freaking responsibility. If you see your child doing something, what's that saying? Do something, say something, do something like that. But we forget that when it comes to parenting. We look the other way. That's why this new law going around, y'all better pay attention to this, that if a child commits, I don't even want to say it on YouTube, all of these incidents that happen at the school, the parents now are being held liable for what the child is doing. So pay attention. It doesn't start when they're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. It starts when they're 2, 3, and 4. Listen, I shared this story before. I'm going to share it real quick. My son was a little baby. I'm extreme. Just want to share a principle with y'all. He was still in the crib, and he had a habit of every night, 3 o'clock in the morning, crying for a bottle. I had to walk 3 flights of stairs. He only wanted a warm bottle, not lukewarm, hot. He wanted some sauce on it. And it pissed me off every night he did it. No problem. If I got to go down and work for the bottle, you gonna work for your bottle. And I would take the bottle and I would put the bottle at the other end of his freaking crib. And he had to crawl and get that bottle. Until eventually, like, you know what, this ain't working. So I'ma stop. He stopped crying. I stopped going to get the bottle. He stopped crawling. But the principle is, I taught that young man how to crawl to get that bottle. And to this day, he's still crawling, climbing, pushing. Like all of our sons are. All of our sons are doing their thing. All of our sons. I take my hat off to my wife and I for raising some great men. Let me say it like that. Some phenomenal men. I shared this before, and I'm gonna share it again. Until we can drive this point home, where my wife pulls up in the car, or my wife has bags. My wife does not have to bring grocery bags in. She doesn't touch the garbage. As a matter of fact, if she's picking our son up from school, he walks around to her side of the door, opens the door for her, and as she's walking to the door, his one sole freaking responsibility is to get his hand on that doorknob before her hand gets anywhere near that door and open that door for her. Why? Because we are instilling respect for not just for your mother. It starts with his mother, and then it grows to as he gets older into a relationship. He learns how to respect women in the field. He's not hearing. My sons didn't hear me bashing mom and doing all this stuff. Nah, it starts at home. When they're young like that, it starts at home. I get it. Some kids do go astray. I'm not saying that. As I got 19, when I was 19 years old, I went astray. But I was 19. I had to get out my mama's house and I had to learn and grow up. And I grew up real fast. But seeing the parents teach this, as small as this may be, stealing candy on freaking Halloween, you should be disgusted with yourself. Social media should be blasting you. Moms. I ain't gonna say the other word. I ain't gonna say the K word. Anyway. Hey, listen. I get it. We live in a different day and age. I get it. But at the end of the day, I still believe that we, as parents, we are responsible for teaching our kids how to maneuver in this life, to respect authority, to respect adults. You know how many body cam videos? If you check out some of my body cam videos, how many young men and women can't just, when the police officer says, "Can I have your identification?" No, they automatically start fighting. Just give them the freaking ID. My one responsibility is when a cop asks me for my identification, give him everything he needs so he can get the hell out of my life. I'm not fighting him. I ain't cursing him out. I'm not yelling. Listen, he want to search my car so I get the hell out of my life. So you can get the hell out of my life. But what is all this hostility? Listen, we still have to have a level of respect for authority because we still live on this goddamn planet. Period. Point blank, end of story. It just is what it is. Seeing these parents take this candy in front of their kids, encouraging their kids, it's gonna breed to this disrespect the older these kids get. There ain't no pullback. The kids already saw you do it. Mom, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Thank you for checking out the channel. Let me know what y'all think about this video. I miss the old school days, the nostalgic days when kids were just having fun, riding their bikes. Saturdays and Sundays, Halloween was sacred. Yeah, our costumes weren't fancy. Yeah, we were sweating or freezing because the plastic either held the heat in or kept the cold in. It wasn't fun. I mean, it didn't feel good, but it was still fun. We lived in the best day and age. We are the last of a dying generation. Thank you for checking this out. I'll be back with another video real soon. Peace.